Cut. Hi! Today we will venture on our new lesson entitled And Action, depicting the story in scenes. And without any more delay, let's get into it. Now, as a creative nonfiction writer, you don't only tell as you narrate a story in words. You also show as if the readers are watching a play or a movie. The paper you are writing on becomes the stage where you show what is happening. That stage or the space where actions in the story move is what we call the scene. The scene depicts the writer's encounter or experience of a particular event to the readers. The scene is the space inside your literary mind, but also remember to not make it so obvious to the reader's imagination, for this would discourage them, if not make them stop reading altogether. Now, as a creative nonfiction writer, you need to make the reader enter the space and relieve the scene in their imagination. You need to let the readers imagine. Know that imagination is powerful, and with the right amount of words, the right combination of phrases and sentences, you, the author, could make the readers imagine. The idea is not to write a scene, but to write in scenes. What does that mean? Well, to write a scene means that you will write just to complete a scene, which is a very big no. Why? Because what you need to do is to write in scenes. This means that you need to draw a main plot with a beginning and an ending, then divide it into different scenes. Then you also need to pair on the actions that will complete that said scene, which in turn have the relevance to the whole story. And also, I want you to take note that scenes involve people in some actions. This said people talk, which is in turn what we call dialogue, which is a way of supplying facts or information to us, the readers, or even the viewers. Now, from those dialogues, us, readers, or them, the readers, got a glimpse of something that they might even already know or something that they do want to know, a confirmation. And these scenes also happens in a place at a particular time, which we call the setting. And by those four elements, we can create a conclusive and nice scene. Now, let's try to see how this scene plays out in this part of a movie entitled Luna. On what we've just watched, we saw how that scene interconnects to the other scenes in the story. For example, a scene where General Luna was talking to this young journalist named Hoven, or the scene where the American troops are slowly but surely taking control of different parts of the Philippines, wherein it will be too impossible to create that such level of detail and effect if his or her goal is just to write a scene. And now, let's try to analyze the scene itself. A scene must have these following elements. The first one is the action. What is the action being depicted on a scene? The next one is the facts arising from dialogues. Third are the information revealed from the private details of that scene or that actions. And the last one is the setting. Now, let's try to analyze these four elements from the scene that you've just watched. For the action, we saw the discussion of cabinet members about their next move towards American forces invading the country. And we saw their the president of the Philippines back in the day, General Emilio Aguinaldo, the first Prime Minister, Apolinario Mabini, and we have this Mr. Paterno and Buen Camino, and a lot of upper ups during that time. And we also saw our main protagonist, which is General Luna. Now, from that action, we realized from the facts arising from the dialogues itself that the cabinet members have opposing opinions. Some of them is opposed about the American forces in the Philippines, while the others are in good terms with them. And from those dialogues, we do realize that some government officials back in the day prioritizes their personal wants instead of the Filipinos' interest. And that is the main reason why the protagonist, General Luna, is so angry at the time. Just like what he said, why are you even thinking about yourself while your countrymen are being enslaved? How could you do that? Right? We do realize that, hey, these guys are very self-oriented to the point that, and greedy, of course. They're very greedy in the sense that they are willing to sacrifice their own countrymen for their own benefit. And on the last one, the setting is, of course, all of this scene happens on a private meeting room at Bulacan at the time of the Filipino-American War. Now, those are the four elements of a scene. We've got, once again, we've got the action, what happened in the scene, the facts arising from dialogues, and the information revealed from the private details. This is what you got from listening to what they are talking about, and of course, the setting where the action takes place. Now for your activity, open and complete the worksheet entitled Lesson 4 or 8 underscore creative nonfiction underscore Sir Michael underscore worksheet number 3. So this is our worksheet number 3. Of course, you need to write your name, your section, and the strand where you're enrolled in. And here's the general directions for our activity. Let me read it for you. Read and understand the excerpt, then answer the activity afterwards. So this is what you're going to read. It is entitled Housekeeping and written by Juliet Augusta Mago Kinsey. Let me read the excerpt for you guys. I had made many fruitless attempts, both in Detroit and Green Bay, to procure a servant woman to accompany me to my new home. Sometimes one would present herself, but before we could come to a final agreement, the thoughts of distance, of the savages, the hardships of the journey, or perhaps the objections of friends will interfere to break off the negotiation. In this state of things, all difficulties seemed to be obviated by the proposal of Major Twiggs that we should take care into our service a young colored girl whom he had brought from Buffalo in the spring to wait on Mrs. T until her own servants should arrive from the south. Louisa was accordingly sent for, an uncommonly handsome young negress with an intelligent but very demure countenance, who called herself 15 years of age, but who, from the progress in vice and iniquity I afterwards discovered her to have made, must have been at least several years older. Be that as it may, we now seem to have no fault but carelessness and inexperience, both of which I had great hopes she would get rid of, under careful training. The first dinner in her own home is an era in the life of a young housekeeper. I shall certainly never forget mine. While I was in the lower regions, superintending my very inexpert little cook, my husband made his appearance to say that, as a payment, then all the absorbing topic of interest would not commence until afternoon. He had invited Emily, Mr. Hempstead, and 4 other gentlemen to dine with us. So unexpected, so unprepared for. Never mind, give them anything you have. They have been living for some days in tents, and anything will taste well to them. My dinner had been intended to consist chiefly of venison pasty, and fortunately, the only dish among my store was of very large proportions, so that there was already smoking in the oven a pie of a size nearly equal to the famous Norwich pudding. Thus, with some trifling additions to the bill of fare, we made out very well, and the master of the house had the satisfaction of hearing the impromptu dinner very much commended by his 6 guests. And that's it. That's the excerpt entitled Housekeeping, written by Juliet Augusta Magill Kinsey. And here's what you need to do. You need to list down the actions, the facts or information you gathered through dialogues, and the personal details about the housekeeping that you did not know before. So here it is. And of course, the setting. Let's not forget the setting. Okay? So yeah, that's it for your worksheet number 3. Let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. And of course, I would like to thank and give the credits to Slides Carnival for this very, very colorful PowerPoint presentation. And yeah, thank you guys for watching till the end. And I'll see you on the next one. Good luck on your activity. Stay safe. Bye.